Hey everyone, and welcome back to, I don't even think I can say chaotic mess anymore because I'm not doing cleaning videos. Anyway, it is a big book review. I've not made one of these since I think February was my last one. So we are doing a book review for March, April, and May. The last day of May is technically this Sunday, but I don't think I'm going to finish. I mean, I might. I've been reading a whole lot. If I happen to finish the book that I'm currently reading by Sunday, I will just cut, like before I do the outro, to do an update on that book as well. But for now, we're going to, I need to go to 2026 Reading Challenge. Currently, I am 7 books ahead of schedule. That's how much I've been reading. I've read 27 out of 50 books. 50 books is our year goal. I decided to do 50 because if I wouldn't have read those little tiny, like I could read in 2-hour books, towards the end of the year last year, I wouldn't have made my goal. So just being honest there. So yeah, right now we're at 27 out of 50 actual books. So yes, actual books. I went all the way back to the beginning. So anyway, let's start with the first one in March. I'm just not very good at this yet, guys, so I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you like the type of tropes or anything like that. If it's like grumpy sunshine or whatever, I don't understand any of that crap. I just read. I honestly just read. I don't get into the whole trope thing, and I don't really understand it. Well, there went my purse. Whatever. Anyway, so that's that. The Wife Upstairs is the first book, and it's by Rachel Hawkins. This book, okay, I'm going to read you the book description, and then I'll kind of do my take on it. It says, a delicious twist on a Gothic classic, The Wife Upstairs pairs Southern charm with atmospheric domestic suspense, perfect for fans of B.A. Paris and Megan Miranda. Meet Jane, newly arrived to Birmingham, Alabama. Jane is a broken dog. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I have dyslexia and sometimes I just say words wrong. Jane is a broke dog walker in Thorntonfield Estates, a gated community full of McMansions, shiny SUVs, and bored housewives. The kind of place where no one will notice if Jane lifts the discarded tchotchke and jewelry off the side tables of her well-heeled clients, where no one will think to ask if Jane is her real name. But her luck changes when she meets Eddie Rochester, recently widowed. Eddie is Thornfield Estate's most mysterious resident. His wife Bee drowned in a boating accident with her best friend, and their bodies lost to the deep. Jane can't help but see an opportunity with Eddie. Not only is he rich, brooding, and handsome, he could also offer her the kind of protection she's always yearned for. Yet, as Jane and Eddie fall for each other, Jane is increasingly haunted by the legend of Bee, an ambitious beauty with a rags-to-riches origin story, who launched a wildly successful Southern-style brand. How can she, plain Jane, ever measure up? And can she win Eddie's heart before her past or his catches up with her? So I rated this. I rate most of my books 4 stars unless it just truly sucks, and 5 stars if it's absolutely amazing. But if it's just one I enjoyed, it's automatically a 4 star. I know my rating system sucks, and I'm sorry. However, this one actually did surprise me because the whole time I thought I had it figured out. The whole entire time, I was like, "Oh, okay." I just guessed it was like the Frida McFadden book where like, I don't know what it's called, but it's about this guy who hires someone to take care of his wife who isn't allowed to leave her room, blah blah blah. Anyway, we're not talking about that Frida McFadden book, but I figured it was like that because I've read so many books by other people that kind of try to copy Frida McFadden. So I figured it was just like kind of a knockoff of that. But this one actually surprised me because the title kind of gives it away. So we're just going to say in the description, it says that his wife died in a boating accident. Well, obviously, based off the title, his wife did not die. So, but I don't want to give it away. It's just so good. It is really good. I'm sorry. I suck at these. I've watched book reviews before, and I feel like they kind of say too much sometimes. They give it away, and it makes it like, oh, well, it sounds like it'd be a good book, but I'll put it on my TBR, and maybe in a couple years, I'll forget what this person said. It's not, I have a hard time watching book reviews and then automatically downloading that book because I already know how it's going to end because they pretty much say it. And so I don't want to do that, but telling you his wife's alive doesn't give that away because the title basically says that. But this was the first, I don't even know what it's classified as. I wonder if Goodreads tells you what it's classified as. No, it doesn't. It's, okay, here it does. It says a forbidden romance, twisted love triangles. Yeah, it's kind of like a mystery slash romance sort of thing. It was really good. So I do absolutely recommend this book if you like those type of books. It's very clean. It's not spicy at all. So again, it's The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. So that was that one. The next one, and also like this one was on one of the challenge lists, and then the next one was also on a challenge list. And then after that, I decided, you know what, I'm done with the challenge list because it's so hard to find books that look interesting to me on there. And I know maybe I should like veer away from what I'm used to, but which I did with The Silent Patient, and I did like that one, but like I am in like the era of my life where I just want to read what I want to read, and it's proven to be effective since I'm 7 books ahead. Anyway, the next one is called Skate It Till You Make It by, I'm gonna say the name wrong and I'm sorry, Rufaro Faith Mazarua. And this one was for Black History Month. There was a challenge for that, so I'm pretty sure this is like an African American or African or what other nationalities there are author. Let's see. This one I'm just going to tell you about. I don't want to read the descriptions for all of these. This one was a cutesy little romance, very clean, not spicy again. It is about a hockey player, a female hockey player whose team made it to the Olympics. It was Team Great Britain, I believe, that made it to the Olympics, and she's on the female hockey team, and she ends up falling in love with the one of the photographers that was newly hired on for one of the sponsors of her team, I guess. And he's mainly there to focus on the snowboarding people and a lot of the newcomers and stuff like that. His focus isn't really on female hockey. They have him doing other things, but he ran into her at like a New Year's Eve party before the Olympics and never thought he was going to see her again. And then they ran into each other again at the Olympics. And anyway, they decided, because her ex-boyfriend is on the Great Britain snowboarding team, and he's kind of I can't say. He's a disgusting human. That's all we're gonna say. And so they made a pact to fake date. So I guess it is a fake dating trope, if that's a thing. And anyway, they made a pact to fake date and then break up at the end of the Olympics, but they end up falling in love. And so that's basically the gist of it. It was really good. I rated it 4 stars. It is a pretty quick read. At least it was for me. It's got, this doesn't tell you how many pages it has. It just tells you how many editions. Okay. Oh yeah, it does. 378 pages. So it's pretty quick read. And then I jumped back into series that I was reading before. Shut up, Siri. Anyway, I jumped into books, like book series that I've read before, started reading before, and this one is the, oh my god, Time River series. This is book 3. It's Claim Me Forever. And this one, I think, would be labeled as single dad trope. I don't know. Anyway, it's about a single dad sheriff who's doing his best to protect the town, a gorgeous stranger caught trespassing, a love never expected. So it turns out the town sheriff is a total cinnamon roll, a big, burly, grumpy, hot as sin cinnamon roll. Sorry, I've never seen a book description that started saying what it was about and then turns into the view of one of the characters. So, basically, he caught a girl trespassing on some private property, and sorry, so many noises. I'm not doing very good today. Anyway, caught this girl trespassing on private property. She lied to him and said that she was just there to sleep. He ended up taking her in to the station to check on her, like make sure she's not a criminal, blah blah blah. Anyway, needless to say, she ends up staying. He offers her a place to live because he's got a guest house that's just sitting vacant. They end up falling in love. You know, Time River series is a great series. Super spicy though. If you're not into spicy, you might not want to read it, but it's a good series. I'm waiting for 4 to come out. It's supposed to come out either June or July, one of those two. But I don't want to talk about it. One of the series I was reading, I'm going to talk about it anyway. One of the series I was reading, it's been on Kindle Unlimited free this whole entire time, and then the newest book just came out, not free, not on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm a little upset about that because I like to specifically read Kindle Unlimited books because I pay for Kindle Unlimited, and so very rarely do I buy a book. But I just ordered some things on Amazon that came with a digital coupon, and I think I will have enough to buy that book once that digital reward hits those digital rewards, because there was 3 different things. Once those digital rewards hit my cart, or my account. Anyway, so that one was called Claim Me Forever. I don't think I told you. It's Claim Me Forever, and it's by A.J. Jackson. It's Time River number 3. Next was another, it's the next one in the series of the Time River series, Time River 4, Hold Me Until Morning. There's another one coming out, which I think is why I said I'm waiting for the next one. Anyway, it's also by A.L. Jackson, of course, and this one is, I gotta remember which character it's about, because there's so many. Okay, so this one is about, if you read book 2, it's about that lead female character's brother. This one is about his journey to find love, because he was dubbed the Bachelor till the Rapture, basically, and he ends up falling in love with a girl that he knew from his early 20s, like teens, 20s kind of age range, and basically it found out that her ex-husband and her father were in cahoots. They were basically criminals, and yeah, I don't want to give too. These books are hard to really describe without giving it away, because it's just easier to say they fall in love happily ever after. But she is a single mom, and she moved back, and instead of moving in with her father and working for her father, she wanted to make a name for herself, and so she started working at an up-and-coming resort, so to say, and she was the stable manager. It's like an equestrian resort that she was working at. The ex-husband is definitely a jerk and threatens, and there is talk of semi-abuse in here, but it's not like full-on abuse. This one, I don't know what trope I would even put this under. I wish Goodreads has a trope section where you can specifically look for different tropes, but I wish it would tell you under here what the trope is. And by the way, no, I did not get a camera. That's recording on my new phone, and this is my old phone that they wouldn't take back because it is apparently what is it, something locked, carrier locked, I don't know. So anyway, that one is called, again, Hold Me Until Morning. I said that right the first time. I don't know why in my head I feel like I said it backwards. Anyway, that's Time River 4, A.L. Jackson. Next is The Wild Card. This one actually tells you what trope it is. It's called The Wild Card. It's by Stephanie Archer. I love Stephanie Archer, by the way, and I'm waiting. This is the one I'm pretty sure that's no longer free. I could be wrong. Anyway, it's a single dad hockey romance. I love I love hockey, and I started reading hockey romance. So why isn't it? Okay, well, it's not telling me the book details for some reason. That's annoying. I can just tell you what it's about. It's about the coach of the team. I'm reading 2 different hockey series, and the next one is also about a coach. So, anyway, I wish I could tell you what series it's in too. Okay, this is the Vancouver Storm series. So he's the coach for the Vancouver Storm, and he falls in love with, oh my God, I shouldn't have read 2 of them back to back. I think this is the one. Hold on, I'll tell you. Okay, so that's okay. I can't find the details of this one. It was good. I remember it was good, but I can't remember how he met the girl. And that's what's bothering me the most. And it's not giving me the ability to view the details. So, actually, let me try it a different way. Sorry. I know. I'm all over the place, and I'm so sorry. That's not what I wanted. Da 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 da. Let's go down this way. Can I get it this way? Haha. All right, Stephanie. So it's a former star player. Tate Ward has become easily the best coach in professional hockey, leading the Vancouver Storm team to victory. Everyone is in love with the handsome, authoritative single dad, except for Jordan Hathaway. Oh, this is one. She owns a bar, but her dad. Okay, I'm gonna just give some of it. I'm just tell you. It's not like whatever. Anyway, her dad owns the Vancouver Storm, but she dislikes her father. Like, they end up rekindling their father-daughter relationship towards the end of the book, but like, she just loathes her father basically. But her father has asked the coach to check in on her periodically. She owns a bar, and the team basically claimed that bar. So anyway, she loathes the coach basically in the beginning because she knows her father hired him to spy on her, and that just irritates her beyond belief. Just irritates her, right? So anyway, they end up falling in love because her father made a deal with her. Hey, you know, I forget what she... No. Her father... Yeah. Her father made a deal with her because her father was going to sell the team. And she wants to save the team from being split up. Because usually when coaches... or when teams get bought by new owners, they tend to want to clean house and kind of make everything their own. And you know what I'm saying? So she wanted all her friends to be able to stay together, not be separated and stuff like that. So she made a deal with her dad that, her dad made a deal with her that if she would come and work for the team, that he would sign the team over to her and she could do with it what she wanted. And she straight up told him, just so you know, I will be giving the team to the coach, to Coach Tate. And he's like, once the team is signed over to you, you do with it what you want. He knew she would fall in love with the sport again because she used to love hockey and everything about it. But when her mom died, she blamed her dad and a bunch of other stuff that if you read the book, you'll find out about. And So yeah, it's just such a good book, and I know I gave so much away with that, probably because it took me forever to remember what it was about. Once I seen the names and stuff like that of the characters, I remembered. But anyway, the next one, oh sorry again, that was the wild card, Vancouver Storm number 5. The next one is called Sin Bin, and it's by Chelsea Corrado, and it's the DC Stars number 5. This is why I feel like these two authors are either like the same person but using different pen names, or they're copying each other, because both of them are hockey books, and both of them book number 5 is about the coach of the team. So anyway, Sin Bin, which is what they call the penalty box in hockey, by the way. This one is about the head coach. He's grumpy as well. For some reason, all head coaches are grumpy. I don't get it. Anyway, he ends up hiring a girl to work with his daughter, because his daughter's into figure skating and her current coach is going on a maternity leave, and she needs a new coach. So he ends up hiring he ends up hiring the younger sister of one of his players, who is a champion figure skater. And anyway, she has a huge crush on him, you could say, before they, I don't want to give this one away, but they did have an encounter before she was hired, and like a year went by, and then that's when she ended up being hired, was a year after the encounter. There was a lot of stuff that happened in that year that was in a previous book's epilogue. Anyway, by the way, the last book and this book are super spicy. I don't know. They're just super spicy. This is going to be a long video because I'm out of practice, and I'm sorry for that. And we're not even like halfway done. This is just probably still March. Yeah, this is still March. Next, we are going into the Cinnamon Spice Inn. Oh, I remember this one. This one at the end. This is by Harper Graham, by the way. This one at the end broke me. Let me just tell you, before I tell you what it's about, it broke me. Just like the last chapter before the epilogue crushed me. I was in tears. It took me so long to regain my composure before I could read the epilogue. And it's not because like it's just soul crushing, but like, if you guys don't know, like if you're new to my channel or whatever, I lost my mom back in 2021, and in the last chapter before the epilogue, she finds a letter from her mom that her mom wrote before she passed away, and it crushed me. I think the reason it hurt me so much is because like I wish I could have had a letter from my mom before she passed away. I'm not saying it would have made it easier. And also, this girl didn't get this letter right when her mom passed away. She got it years later because it was entrusted with her grandma, and her mom had left instructions with her grandma not to give it to her until she absolutely needed it. Like if she felt like her daughter needed it. And so it just, because the book reads the letter to you, and it just broke me because it's just something I wish I would have. Like, there's been many times that I wish I had like encouraging words from my mom. And anyway, it broke me. It's about a girl who comes back home to help save her family's inn. Hence the name Christmas, the Christmas Spice Inn. And it's just, they have it in here as Gilmore Girls plus Spice plus everything autumn equals self-confessed coffee addict and food writer Madison convinced herself she belongs in New York City. But then she finds herself back in small town Maple Falls. I'm pretty sure this is called Maple Falls. Yeah, Maple Falls, book 1. I don't know where they get the Gilmore Girls from because she doesn't have a child, so I don't get that one. But yeah, she falls in love with her childhood friend, ex-boyfriend. She falls back in love with him. So it's kind of like a rekindled, oh, here, they have it right here. Second chance romance. Childhood sweethearts. Work romance spicy. Oh, they also have it labeled as enemies to lovers, forced proximity. See, I don't get I don't get, because they're not technically enemies. Anyway, it's a good book. I read the whole series that's available so far, so. The next one's also from the Maple Falls. It's called the Spiced Cocoa Cafe. This one was about it's around Christmas time. It still says Gilmore Girls. I don't get that, but whatever. It's a girl that is from, like, she lived in Paris with her ex, and he basically was like one of those guys that just tells you you're not good enough and beats you down, like not physically, but just mentally breaks you down. Anyway, she caught him cheating on her and left Paris and moved back closer to where she grew up. There was a candy shop that the owner was retiring and sold her the candy shop, basically. And chocolate shop, not candy shop, chocolate shop. And so she opens up this chocolate shop and she ends up falling in love with the Grinch, the guy that he doesn't own, his family owns a llama sanctuary. They own a tree farm, pumpkin farm, basically just a holiday farm. We'll call it a holiday farm. And he opened up a shop. I don't remember the name of the shop, but it's kind of like, it's the same stuff they sell at the farm, but just closer into town. So, like, if you don't want to drive all the way out there, like, if you're not doing your own, cutting down your own tree sort of thing, you can go out there, or you can go to his shop if you're just wanting to get, like, jams and jellies and all the other homemade goodies that the farm sells. So yeah, that's what that one is about. Anyway, don't you guys love my book reviews? Next one is Maple Falls number 3. It's the Cherry Crush Flower Shop. And this one is about the girl, she owns the flower shop. She inherited from her mom. Her mom owned it, then she took it over, and so on and so forth. But she fell in love with the grumpy farmer's brother who was in the military. They were friends. They were friends for life, basically. And so it's like almost like best friends turned lovers, I guess would be a trope. But when he came back from the war, he has really bad PTSD, and she understands that, and she in a way helps him get through the PTSD and gets him to where he will go out and work in the community with the community more, because when he came home from the war, he kind of avoided being in town. He stayed out at the farm. The reason the family opened the llama sanctuary was to help veterans with PTSD, because animals tend to be good for veterans with PTSD. So, yeah, I guess this one would definitely, I would classify as friends to lovers. And again, all these books so far are spicy. So, and the Cherry Crushed Flower Shop by Harper Graham. Next is called the Sunrise Bay Cafe, and this is the Bay Sisters one. This one is not spicy. It is about a woman whose mother dies, and she inherits the cafe. Well, she doesn't inherit by herself, but basically she and her sister inherit the cafe and the house, and the mom put in the will a stipulation that they have to sign the papers together at the courthouse. Like, they couldn't do it electronically or anything like that. They had to come together to sign these papers, or everything would get donated to the historical society of the town. And the reason she did that is because the sisters became estranged at some point. Anyway, so needless to say, the one sister was trying to find like a loophole between it all, and thought that if they just gave the cafe away in like a contest, that would bypass that loophole. But it did not. So they ended up doing the contest. The winner came. The one girl the older sister fell in love with the contest winner, but there was almost a fallout between them, because she found out the younger sister, or maybe it was the older sister, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was the younger sister. I can't remember which one was older, which one was younger. But either way, she found out that they still had to sign those papers together before they could even give it away. And so, needless to say, long story short, it was a happy ending. And so that kind of pretty much tells you how it ends. Next is the Sunrise Bay Bookshop, and it's the Sunrise Bay Sisters 2. This one is about one of the friends from the group. By the way, there's a group of friends that call themselves the Sunrise Bay Sisters, which is where the series title comes from. So the Sunrise Bay Bookshop, her husband passed away, and she moved out of, I think it was Chicago, and moved up to where her friend lived in Sunrise Bay. I think that's what town is called. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Sunrise Bay. Anyway, she moved up there to open a bookshop, or not necessarily, she didn't know what she was going to open at that time, but she thought she was getting one property that her husband had left her, but it ended up being a different property that needed a lot more work and everything else. And what was I saying? Oh my. Okay, so anyway, it was Chicago, by the way. Oh, it's Autumn Harbor, not Sunrise Bay. Autumn Harbor is the town. And anyway, so she Um, why can't I think? She ends up deciding, okay, she's going to do her best to redo this and make it a bookshop. She comes up with the idea for a bookshop. Mischief! Hold on. All right, sorry. This is going to be a long video, and I'm sorry for that, guys. Anyway, where was I? So she decides she's going to make it a bookshop, but she was having trouble figuring out funds because the money she thought she was going to get was gone. And her husband, like, honestly forget what happened with the money. What she found out. I think she gave it to, oh no, I remember. Apparently her father-in-law had an affair, and his love child's daughter needed medical attention, and so that's where the money ended up going that she thought she was going to have as a nest egg. And anyway, her husband's best friend, don't ask, her husband's best friend actually comes up to check on her and her child. He is an ex-hockey player. That was not planned for this series, but it's funny nonetheless. And he ends up becoming an investor in her business. Needless to say, they also end up falling in love. The end. It is a no spice. So these books are not spicy. The Sister Bay or the Sunrise Bay series is not spicy at all. It's just called Girl Cozy Vibes, Small Town Sweet Second Chance Romance. Some of these actually have things in the description of what it is. So I'm going to try to rush through this a little bit more. The next, we're going to go through the Leafwood Fall series, and that's like the next 7 books. So the first one is the Next Chapter Bookshop, and this series is by Brooke Ski, S-K-I-E. I probably said it wrong, but whatever. So the Next Chapter Bookshop is about a girl who inherits her aunt's bookshop, and she went to sell it. She went to this town, and she was going to sell the crap out of this bookshop. She didn't want it. It's in Leafwood Falls. She didn't want it. She was an attorney in Manhattan, and she had every purpose of going back to Manhattan. But while she was there getting the bookshop in order to sell, she ended up falling in love with the town, falling in love with a person. I don't want to say who because there are 2 love interests. And needless to say, she ends up staying. The bookshop is called the Awakening Bookshop, and it is very mysterious. I wouldn't necessarily label this as romance. I would label this series more as like mysterious, but not really a mystery. Let's see what some of these people unexpected connections, magic, yeah, it doesn't really say. I wouldn't really label this as a romance. There is some romance, but like throughout the whole series, not all of them have romance in them. Do they? Actually, they all have romance in them. So maybe it is like a romance, but like this whole town's got like mystery in it, like some sort of magic, we can say, because everything, like for example, the bookshop has opinions. You're gonna hear that in the book a lot, that the bookshop has opinions. Like books will just magically fall off in front of you and be exactly what you're looking for, so on and so forth. So next one in that series is the Copper Kettle Cafe, and it is about a chef that reputation was ruined by an owner of the previous establishment she worked at, by them basically doing shady stuff. And so because of that, she was linked to them through being their chef, and so her whole reputation was ruined, and she was trying to just go someplace to lay low. A old friend, family friend, offered her a job, a temporary job, you know, because she was battling cancer. The family friend was battling cancer, and she owned a cafe called the Copper Kettle in Leafwood Falls, and so she needed someone to help her while she was going through chemo and stuff like that. So the girl decides to go ahead and help the family friend, and she was asked to give it 6 months, and then partway through the 6 months, the family friend asked, you know, could I have the year, because I guess she was having some setbacks with her chemotherapy. And so anyway, needless to say, the chef ends up falling in love with the local farmer. I don't want to give it away too much. It's just so fun. This was a fun series. Like, I really did enjoy this series. At first I was like, what, you know, because it was kind of weird at first, but I really just fell in love with all of the characters, and they all kind of commingle throughout the books. And there's one in particular, she changed her name legally to Mia Amazing, so her last name is Amazing, and she is, like, I would say she's the prominent character in every book so far. Like I said, I'm only on 7, and it seems like there's gonna be more, just based off of the way it ended. So anyway, that's Copper Kettle. I just don't want to give away too much of these books, because I want you guys to read them. And if you are the type of people that would rather I just give it away, let me know, and I will just start putting spoilers at the beginning of my videos and just totally give it away. I will just do spoilers warnings saying, hey, I am going to spoil the crap out of this book for you. Sorry, but you know, just let me know, because personally I don't like that. That's why I don't watch that many book reviews anymore, because I feel like too many of them give them away. Anyway, next in the Leafwood Falls series is The Midnight Reader, and that one was about the bookshop. So you're gonna get the characters from book 1, and basically there's someone that's been breaking, they're not really breaking, apparently they have a key into the bookshop after hours, and they try to figure out who it is. That's why I said it's a mystery. They're always trying to solve some sort of mystery, it seems, in some way or another in each of these books. That's why I said it's kind of a mystery, kind of a romance. It's like a romancery. No, that's not what it would be. Mistomance. I don't know. It's just combo. And they do end up finding out who it is. I don't want to spoil who it is. It's actually no one that's ever mentioned again so far. So I guess it wouldn't matter. It's an old man whose wife passed away, and he had donated all of his books to the bookshop when it was still owned by the girl's aunt. And so the aunt made a deal with him that he could come back anytime and visit with his books and stuff like that. So it's gonna rain. Anyway, next is The Tiger's Tail. This one was so cute. This is about an older lady who's got dementia, and her daughter and her granddaughter, and they end up visiting the bookshop one day, and her mother, the lady with dementia ends up having like just the best time. She has like the most clarity she's had in ages, and she starts writing down her tales that she used to tell her daughters when they were growing up, and she calls them the Tiger Tales, or the Luna Stories is what she calls them. I'm sorry, it's called the Luna Stories. And in the Luna Stories, Luna has a tiger, a magical tiger. Anyway, so she writes about these stories, and in the end, she ends up getting one like locally published, because everyone loves these stories, and they were requested that, hey, could we make this into like a book? My children just love these, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so long story short, it's a happy ending. The mother is mentioned in books coming up, so I'm sorry if I'm going through these real quick. I'm just trying to... Also, every Leafwood Falls series claims it can be read as a standalone, but I feel like if you read them in order, it would make more sense, because there are reoccurring characters in each book, and you kind of get introduced to them in book one. So it just makes sense to me to read them in order. Trying to see what this one was about real quick. This one is called The Bookshop of Secrets. It's book 5 in the series. This one is about, they do a fear jar in October, and so people have been putting their fears in anonymously, and then she puts recommendations out based on that fear, and then they kept getting these ones that are in the same handwriting, but that were like concerning, like, I wonder if people ever really see me. Just really concerning fears, right? And so they were trying to figure out who it is so they could help them, basically, like get them proper help. Anyway, really good book. They do find out who it is in the book. And I think I don't want to say one of the characters kind of falls in love in the book, but not really. Anyway, Just Until Christmas is the 6th one in the series, and this one is about a temp cashier slash bookseller slash helper, and a guy that's coming to audit the books that the one character donated to the aunt, because the man did end up passing away and ended up getting his whole entire collection instead of just the ones he already had given to the library. So the guy was there to assess, what is it called? I'll think of it. Let me see if it says it in here. Appraise. He's there to appraise the collection, basically, to see what books are, because she doesn't obviously, like, a lot of them aren't going to stay in the bookshop, and so she's getting them appraised because a lot of them are like first editions and stuff like that, that, you know, if she needed to have, you know, the extra funds or whatever for the bookshop, she could sell some of those. Anyway, the appraiser and the temp end up falling in love, and needless to say, it was a happy ending, and they end up staying also in Leafwood Falls. That one is just until Christmas. Book number 6. Last one that I've read so far in the series, and I'm pretty sure there is going to be more. It's called The Snowbound Bookshop, and this one is about 2 people that got snowed into the bookshop. They didn't realize the bookshop was closed. They both went in and started just like browsing, reading, and then it wasn't until like a couple hours later that they realized there was no one else there, and then they were stuck because the door, I guess, opened out, and the snow was so high up that it was keeping it from opening. And so they were stuck in the bookshop all night. They ended up getting a hold of the owner. She was across the street at Copper Kettle at a birthday party for Mia and Mazine, and they were doing like texts back and forth in our group chat. It's a funny book. There was romance in it, also some mystery, and it's just a really fun book. I don't know if those 2 are staying or not yet, because it didn't really say anything. But anyway, next we started a new hockey series. It's called Just Breaking the Rules, Hockey Ever After #1. It's by Lauren Blakely, and that one I have to Recipe for Trouble, Single Dad. Okay, I remember now. I have to do a refresh sometimes. So this one is about a hockey player who is a single dad. I don't know why. Okay, I don't know why they call him a single dad, because the girl's mother's very much in her life, like they have shared custody. But whatever, he's a single dad, and his best friend is the acting GM turned GM of the team he plays for, and the hockey player ends up going into business with best friend's sister, as an investor, really like a silent but very much not silent partner, and they end up falling in love. And this one is spicy. I would say mild spice, though, very mild spice. It's good, and I can't wait till book 2. It's not out yet. I don't know. I didn't realize it was that new of a series, honestly, but apparently it is, because it was published on January 21st of this year. So very new book, but it's a very good book. As you can tell, after the first hockey romance was so good, I just started reading all the hockey romances that pop up. And then I started one of the series that was on my TBR, and it's the Bailey Brothers series. The first one is Protecting You. So the first one is about the lead. I'll just kind of tell you. It's about Asher and Grace. They are best friends, but like in high school, they kind of drift apart, like best friends since early childhood, right? And so in high school, they kind of drifted apart. In college, they got even further apart. But Grace comes home one summer to, from college, and Asher figured, discovered that, he loves her. Like, he is so in love with this girl. And so he asked her out, and he said, just give her the summer. To just give him the summer, to just give him the summer. And at the end of the summer, if she wanted to go back to school and them still be together, she could go back to school and they would figure it out and do long distance or whatever, or maybe he would go there. Or if she wanted to end things, but he said either way, they were going to make it work. Like, if she, I guess not make it work if she decided she didn't want to be with him, but like either way, they would figure it out. And then she ended up staying at the end of summer instead of going back to school, and she decided to defer college for the year because she had a full ride scholarship and it allowed her to take that time off since she was transferring schools. And they ended up falling in love even more, getting engaged. And then one night they went out with some friends, and a couple of jerks started flirting with Grace and hitting on her and trying to start shit. And there was a argument in the bar. The guys got kicked out, not the guys that were messing with Grace, but Asher and his friends. They all got kicked out of the bar. Grace was looking for her purse when the jerky guys grabbed her and took her back into the alley and tried to grape her. And anyway, I'm giving way too much away in this book. This book is so fresh with me. I literally finished it not that long ago. May 23rd is when I finished this book. Anyway, so tried to grape her, didn't succeed. Asher, in his anger, fought him off and ended up killing the main guy that was trying to grape his fiance, and ended up taking a plea deal for manslaughter instead of going to trial for murder, and was sentenced to 8 years in prison, only served 7. And when he got out, he was having a really hard time adjusting and stuff like that. By the end of Protecting You, they ended up getting back together. And yeah, so that was Protecting You. The second one in the series is Fighting for Us, which I just finished on Thursday, the 28th, yesterday. Today's Friday. Anyway, so I finished it yesterday. And so this one is again, Asher and Grace, and it's talking about Asher's facing all his demons now. And they're, in part of the book, he is sleeping over at Grace's house and ends up having a nightmare, and she wakes him, and he's still half asleep in his head. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he's slings, and his elbow knocks her into the face, causing her to basically have a nosebleed, 2 black eyes from that. And he is so upset by this. He goes for a walk, and when he comes back, her house is on fire. He has to rush in and save her. Mind you, I should tell you, Asher used to be a volunteer firefighter before he got sent off to prison, because his dream was to become a full-time firefighter and then a fire inspector. That's what he was going to school for. But with a felony, he couldn't do that when he got out. Which I don't think it's that way in all states, because unless Fire Country's just a lie, the show, I don't think it's like that in all states. But anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, they ended up working it out. They broke up for a while. And then Asher realized he was a jerk. And in the end, they ended up working everything out, falling back in love, and getting engaged again. So that's just like the gist of, without giving away all the middle parts of the book. So that was the last one I read, and now I'm reading number 3 in the series, which honestly I am loving this series so much. I don't know why it took me so long to get to this one, because this one was literally at the very, it wasn't the top, it was the second book in my TBR. The one that's the first one I added, because I put them in date added order, so obviously the oldest that I added to the most current is not free. So anyway, I'm currently reading the next one, which is Unraveling Him, and I don't think I'm gonna finish it by Sunday, but I might. I don't know. These books are a little longer than most books I've been reading. At least it seems like it. This one's 462 pages, so I don't know. But right now, that's what I'm reading, is the Bailey Brothers series, and it's by Claire Kingsley. I don't know if I said that. Anyway, that's it. I'm sorry this is so long. It's probably a 2-hour video. You guys deserve a 2-hour video, right? I haven't posted in 3 months, so I'm sorry. I will do these regularly. I promise. I know I said that last time and we got off kilter with it, but I promise, at least for the month, like the June review, I will post in July. I promise. I'm trying to get this on track. Usually around September, October, I tend to slow down with my reading. So that's why I don't want to promise it's gonna be. I should have done this sooner than I did. I didn't realize I had read that many books, to be honest with you. I've not been like on top of keeping track of everything. So I'm sorry that this is so long. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. Again, I'm so sorry it's so long. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below some books that you think I might enjoy, because I'm always looking for recommendations. I'm sorry, I can't think of words. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Bye.